I want to address what Donna's saying here because it's really important. It was in response to that meme that says, say something that's controversial but shouldn't be. And I said a lot of what we call chronic diseases, including autoimmunity, are brought on by lifestyle, which means that we can reverse them through lifestyle. And Dawn said, why are you blaming people for autoimmunity? That's not what I meant, Dawn, at all. And if that is what I meant, you'd have every reason to be pissed. What I mean is that, like you said, for example, it's hereditary. I know it's hereditary. Every single woman in my family has autoimmunity, from multiple sclerosis to celiac to Hashimoto's. We all have it. So is it our fault? No, of course not. It means that we have an overactive immune system that is triggered by trauma. It can be triggered by emotional trauma, which it has been for many of us. It can be triggered by physical trauma. And we also have a lot of cancer. I mean, women in my family have died young. Was it their fault? Of course not. But it does mean that we have an opportunity to take charge of our health and not have that be our legacy. So we said a lot of it's hereditary. The predisposition to have autoimmunity is absolutely hereditary. You have to have the genes for an overactive immune system, which is triggered by trauma. So that's clearly what I have in my family. However, those genes, so our genes are not destiny. Those genes have to be triggered, many of them have to be triggered by something. They have to be activated, something called epigenetics. It's what happens after, like how our DNA code is read by life. And our bodies respond to the environment. So, for example, somebody who's traumatized as a child will have a more of an active immune system. They'll have more like a trigger-sensitive cortisol and stress response. That's how trauma adds to autoimmunity. Is it blaming them? Of course not. It's not like I could control my childhood or my mother hers or so on and back. But even now, it's not blame. If you feel like crap because you have autoimmunity, yes, your body really is at war with itself. What I'm saying is it's meant to be empowerment. Now, that autoimmunity is not a given. And we know that from twin studies where they take identical twins who were raised in different environments and they see what happens. And we know that only about a third of their genes are destiny. The other 2/3 depends on their environment. That means what we eat, how we sleep, how much stress we're under. Those are things we can control to the extent possible. And that means we have a chance to reverse this illness. There were thousands of cases of people reversing autoimmunity. I know I've had Hashimoto's for 29 years. I've had every symptom in the book, including 3 miscarriages and infertility. It wasn't my fault. But I've now, through diet and changing my lifestyle, been able to reverse it. I'm in remission. I do not have those antibodies. Dr. Terry Wahls, an amazing genius. You can look her up. Her TED Talk, she talks, the Wahls Protocol, she talks about having progressive multiple sclerosis. She was in a tilt wheelchair. She's not anymore. She's climbing mountains. Was it her fault before? Is it the fault of somebody else with MS? Of course not. But it does mean that we have the power to change. And that means we do not have to be victim to this. Again, put aside the blaming. Oh, well, if you don't have to be victims, it's your fault, you are. Fuck the people who say that, frankly. I'm talking about empowering people who have autoimmunity so that we can take charge of our health and we can live our best life possible. Screw the blamers. This is about helping ourselves.